Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Check-In. I am Ned Bellavance, Ned1313 on Twitter, and I want to welcome an awesome guest to the show today, Betty Junod. Welcome to the show. Why don't you tell the lovely folks out there a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Hello, and thank you for having me, Ned. So my name is Betty Junod. On Twitter, it's at Betty Junod. I'm very original with the handles. But I'm currently I'm the VP of marketing over at Solo.io, and we're a company that is doing stuff within the modern application network. So all APIs and Envoy proxy-based networks. And I've actually been in marketing accidentally, but it's where I know. I think careers are funny that way in that I was trying to be practical, and I majored in finance in college and learned through a series of failures that was a horrible idea for me. And kind of accidentally landed in marketing. And the thing is, words has kind of been the thing that has defined my career. Yeah, so I have a knack for, taking a lot of different diverse inputs and being able to then from that spit out a story that kind of brings different viewpoints together. So that's really been my, when people say like your superpower or whatever, but that's the thing. I love words, I love pictures, and bringing those two together. And I also like abstractions. My career has gone from, I spent a lot of time at VMware, Docker, and then now at Solo, all super technical software that has basically kind of tried to abstract different layers up and down the stack.
Right. That is a consistent theme I'm seeing across all of those companies, is that need for abstraction and also kind of being on what is the cutting edge or what is really transforming the technological landscape. I mean, VMware, I can't tell you how much of my career I owe to VMware. And then Docker, likewise, the way that they popularized containers. I'm curious, so were you in technical marketing right out of the gate? Or was there a period where you're doing marketing for something else and then you fell into the technical world?
It was one of these things that I had the joy of getting out of college right around just before the dot-com burst, bubble burst the first time. So actually my first job was out working for a comparison shopping site back when people were like, what do you mean you buy things on the internet? I can't touch it. And then it just shows up. And, all the logistics had yet to have caught up with the idea of online shopping. So in that sense, I was very out of the gate, we were doing just feeding the content to actually fuel a shopping site. From there, I kind of accidentally landed in a partner marketing job. So working with our first set of online shopping kind of providers where we would partner up with other sites. And then, spending some early cycles doing some messaging. And then from there, kind of just kept going down the path of I really liked messaging, whether it would be for a program or a piece of content or an event. So always spent a lot of times just kind of either taking existing content and finding new ways to write it, because we were doing, it was going to be executed through a different type of activity. Or what have you. And it was through that experience where actually a woman that I had worked with, she was working at BMC. I was working at the channel provider that she represented. So she was my channel marketing manager. She ended up going to VMware early on. This was 2000. I think she joined in like 2004-ish. And around 2005, they had some openings coming up. And so she mentioned it to me, and that's where it all started. That's where kind of the product marketing style happened at a scale.
Right. I think sometimes some technical folks like to treat marketing like a bad thing. Like, God, marketing, they're here. Like almost as bad as sales, but not quite that bad. But I've learned over the course of my career that marketing is incredibly important, especially for startups, but just any company that wants to sell things. They need a marketing department of some kind. I know, so that's my career trajectory. over the course of your career trajectory, I'm sure there have been some moments where you received feedback or advice that you found just immensely valuable. So I'm curious if you can recount a couple of those instances and what that advice was.
Yeah, and there's one that actually stands out to me, and it's not anything. What's interesting is it's something that completely changed my perspective about my career and how to manage it. And it wasn't so much a specific like, let me teach you how to learn this new skill.
Right.
And it was actually during my time at VMware. I was about, I'd say towards the end of my tenure there. I was, a mid-level manager running a product marketing team. I was about 6 months pregnant with my second child, commuting from San Francisco to Palo Alto. And a leader in another group actually reached out to recruit me. And I started I was like, oh, this sounds great. But I immediately just started backtracking and just saying like, I just need to be clear. I'm about to go on maternity leave. I don't think this is a good time for me to make a change. I don't know when you want this role to start. Just, we all have these aspects where we start, it's like you have your little plan. And then, something comes in from like left field and then you're kind of scrambling around that plan. And the most interesting thing that this person had said was, Betty, first, congratulations. And then said, and I just want you to know that in the course of a 40-year career, 6 months isn't going to matter.
Right.
That was a really interesting thing because, what was I? I was probably like 30 at that time. So, had worked long enough to have established myself to a certain point. And I think when you're kind of in that middle part of your career, you start getting caught up on, the FOMO, if I miss this meeting, what's going to happen? If I'm gone for a few months, what am I going to miss? How am I keeping up with the Joneses to my contemporaries, my peers? What does that mean? If someone gets promoted before I do, is it going to look bad on me? And that conversation really just kind of reset the thinking. And that ultimately, outside of, the extremely lucky that may have a windfall, the bulk of us are going to work for multiple decades. And when you think about that, like if you need to step back if you need if you're going to have a child, if you're going to have, a major life change or whatever, or even like maybe taking a career change for a little bit. Those things are like, if you think about in the span of the total lifetime, it's not really that big of a deal. That really helped change my perspective. I started thinking about the long game. Personally, I started thinking about the long game and, then planning things out, more so than like, 3-month increments, but more like, okay, what do I want to learn here and for how long? What am I trying to get to? And also, especially as a manager, it really changed how I manage other people.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the cues. Go ahead.
No, how did that shift? Because you had that internal mindset change, but how did that change when you were trying to develop? I mean, I'm assuming you were a good manager and you were invested in developing your people. So how did that shift that portion of it?
The biggest thing was it's almost like giving them, reminding them and giving them the space that time is okay, whatever that time is. Okay. Throughout the course of my time as a manager, I've had people like go on family leave or maybe get sick, ill, right? Or even something simple like I have a doctor's appointment, but people are like, I'm only going to be gone for these many hours for that appointment. And sometimes I'm like, what you've just told me sounds kind of serious. You should just take the day or just work from home for the whole week after this appointment. Like little things. I think there's this feeling of like being present at work means always being accessible. Right. To the detriment of sometimes your health or, your physical health or the health of your home unit. And I think it's one of the things that said is like, it's okay. You not being accessible for a few hours is fine. For a couple of days is fine. And it really emphasized that it's not about like the time that you're checked in, but it's like how making sure that how present and active you are in the contribution when you are checked in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So like being
I
much more purposeful in some senses.
I really like that shift in perspective. It's something that I've found a little bit as well, just from getting older. You start
Yeah.
taking the longer view on things. You know, my 30s are in the rear view mirror for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
And,
I know what you mean.
uh, and that shift has been really helpful. I think if people could grasp onto that earlier, it would change some of the decisions they would make early on. And I think it's especially hard in the technical realm
Mhm.
where everything moves so quickly and you are worried, oh my goodness, if I don't jump on this train right now, it's going to pass me by and I won't have another chance. But the other thing about technology we got to realize is that there's a new thing every 5 minutes. So if you miss that
Exactly.
train, it's like the subway. There's going to be another one in 10 minutes. You're
Yep.
good.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Betty, thank you so much for taking the time to come talk to me today. If people want to know more about you, is there anything you want to promote, or anywhere they should go besides Twitter to find your writing or your information?
Well, to Twitter first, but then also if there's things that I've written that are LinkedIn, that are on my LinkedIn profile, and then separately go check out Solo.io. Got a lot of good fun stuff there too.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of work for Zillow, and
Yes, come
it's
out,
a
come check out your great work there too.
thank you. Oh, it's a good time. Well, thank you once again. And hey, viewers out there, thank you for tuning in today. Please share and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. And oh, by the way, I just started my own little Patreon. So if you like more of these kind of high quality videos, you can hit the link. It'll be down in the description and you can support me on Patreon and keep the tacos coming to me. That'll do it for today. Until next time, stay healthy and stay safe out there.
Thanks. Bye.